Hello and welcome to the Western Association for College Admission Counseling College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. Each will have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but will be around for the entire session to answer any questions you may have. My name is Jenny and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. If you would like to use closed captioning tonight, please use the CC button and it says Show Captions at the bottom of your screen. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/WACAC. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, Temple University, Japan.
Well, hello from Tokyo, Japan. My name's Nathan, and I'm the Director of Overseas Admissions here at Temple University, Japan campus. Temple University Japan campus, or TUJ for short, is an international branch campus of one of the United States' largest public research universities, Temple University in Philadelphia on the East Coast. We've been in Japan 40 years and we're the first branch campus of its type and the only one that's gone the distance. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the campus, and if you have any questions, as mentioned, you can pop those in the Q&A tab and I'll be able to answer those by typing after the session. We offer you the unique opportunity to live and study your degree in the heart of Tokyo, Japan, and graduate from an American university, public state research university. It's the best of both worlds, the ability to immerse yourself in the culture, the language, the safety, great food, just an amazing city, all the while being able to take classes from a renowned American university. Many of our students do go on to stay in Japan and go into global careers, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Being an American university, it's going to be familiar curriculum if you're coming from the US, whether you're coming straight from high school or transferring from college, you'll be able to transfer your credits as normal. If you're taking IB curriculum or AP, you'll be able to get credits for those as normal. And being an English-speaking campus, there's no language barrier. And you have the option to study Japanese as part of your degree, should you want to live in Japan in the future. As I mentioned, our main campus is over in Philadelphia on the East Coast, over 33,000 students. It's a big school, been around since 1884. The Japan campus here in Tokyo, as I said, 40 years. And we also have a campus in Rome, Italy, over 50 years. So Temple has really been at the forefront of international education for many, many years. As a Temple student, you have the flexibility to study at all three campuses or do your full degree in Japan. You can study a full undergraduate degree at our Tokyo campus for 4 years, or with our optional summer semester completed in 3 years. Take a semester in Rome, if you want, right in the heart of Rome, Italy, or even study a semester or two at the main campus, or even graduate there. So you really have flexibility to incorporate our three campuses however you wish. And then we have countless study abroad partners throughout the world, and that will give you an opportunity to study in another part of the world as part of your degree. And what a great time to see the world while you're a student. We're located in the heart of Tokyo. For those who are familiar with Tokyo, you probably know Shibuya. That's one of the key areas. It's like the Times Square of Tokyo. We are just 2 train stations from there, 5 minutes. So you are close to all the action. Tokyo is a phenomenal public transport system, trains, subways, buses. It's very easy to get around. With a statistically low crime rate, it's a safe place to live and study. So it's peace of mind for you and your family back home. With inflation pressures around the world, cost of living in Tokyo is actually quite reasonable when you start to compare it to many other big cities around the world as well. Our campus is around 1,800 students on our undergraduate program, which means a more personal and small community environment. Average class size of just 21 means that you're never going to have large lecture style classes, and you're going to get to know your professors, classmates, and staff very well. You'll have individualized attention, and there's plenty of support services there for you as well. We have students from over 60 countries, so you're going to have a diverse campus, and about 40% are actually American citizens. So you will be studying with fellow Americans as well. We offer 10 full majors at our Japan campus, and they're on the screen now. International Business Studies being our most popular, being in a global city here, along with programs like International Affairs, Communication Studies, etc. As I mentioned, you can combine Japanese with your program, whether you take elective classes, a minor or major, or even double major with Japanese. We have a joint computer science program with our main campus. It allows you to do 3 years in Tokyo and 1 year in our main campus in Philadelphia for our Bachelor of Computer Science. That's quite a unique program to experience both programs if you are interested in computer science. Being an American degree, you do have the flexibility to mix, change a major, add a double major, add a minor, etc. So that is nice that you have that flexibility even though you're in Japan. So it is quite different to a typical Japanese university. Many of our students do go on to work in Japan, but our career development office works with students right throughout their time to prepare them from job hunting, whether that's in Japan or back home. Seminars and workshops on things like interview practice, resume writing, etc. On-campus job fairs where we bring in companies that are specifically looking to hire TUJ students after graduating. A big internship program, which is our crown jewel of our campus, that many of our students do undertake internships in the heart of Tokyo, companies and organizations here. And the ability to be out of work part-time as a student as well on your student visa allows you to earn some extra cash and have some work experience as well. You may be very surprised that the cost of attendance is much less than out of state and on par or even less than some in-state tuitions, and that's on the screen now. Approximately $12,700 for the year, 2 semesters. And that's the same for all students, no matter where you're from. And you can use US financial aid as well to bring that down even further. Applying is easy. You can either apply on the Common App or through our direct application on our website. It's a standard, typical college application there. On the screen, a couple of QR codes if you are interested in getting our brochure, or the link to the application form, or our Counselors on the Road page if you want to see where we are traveling throughout the world and meet with us in person. Our email is also on the screen. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in Tokyo, Japan sometime soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Up next, we have York University. And remember that you can put any of your questions in the Q&A at any time during these presentations. All right, take it away, York.
Hello, I just want confirmation that you can see my slideshow.
Yes, looks good.
Is it full screen? There we go. Okay. So my name is Ruby, and I'm here from York University, which is in Toronto, Canada. So the first thing I want to talk about are some of the advantages of studying in Canada that you might not be aware of. We have Canadian education is highly respected all over the world. Degrees are called portable, which means that if you decide to go on to graduate studies, your undergrad will be accepted anywhere in the world. Canadian universities give transfer credit for AP courses, IB. Toronto and Canada are one of the safest countries in the world. Canada is usually ranked first or second in quality of life around the world. We have universal healthcare. Multiculturalism is a high priority in Canada. And one of the most important things for international students is that they are allowed to work in Canada. And so they can work up to 20 hours a week while they're studying. And in break times like Christmas or the summer, they can work full time. And in addition, co-ops are paid as well. And you can apply for a post-graduation work permit that allows you to stay after you graduate for 3 years to get work experience. We are located in Toronto, which you can see is right below the capital of Ottawa. Ottawa has a white star in the red circle. Toronto is right below that. Toronto is actually the largest city in Canada at 4 million people. I want to say that it is a very multicultural city. Almost 50% of the people 50% of the people in Toronto were born in another country. So there are 180 languages spoken. And once again, it is one of the safest cities in the world. It's a very urban setting, but there are also beautiful parks and just outside of the city are national parks. And we're right on one of the Great Lakes. So you have a tremendous, beyond your university experience, the city itself offers you the world, whether it's arts or sports or music or any activity you can imagine is available in this city. We are the third largest university in Canada. We have 55,000 students across 5 buildings. Sorry, I forgot my word. 5 campuses. There are 3 in Toronto. We have Glendon, which is a small campus that has sort of an East Coast US Ivy League feel with about 5,000 students. We have Kiel, which is our big campus that has about 45,000 students and 90 buildings. And then we have the Markham campus, which is not quite open yet, but it will be open this fall. We are one of the most comprehensive universities in North America. So this is great for students who have multiple interests. You don't have to give anything up, or who aren't quite sure, and you have the opportunity to try anything you can imagine. Some I'd like to highlight is we have a full arts media performance design program. You can actually get a doctorate in dance at York, which makes me really happy. We have the #1 ranked business administration program in Canada. We offer education, a full range of engineering, full sciences. We have the first environmental studies program in North America. It was started in the 70s. We have Glendon, which I mentioned, which is an international studies language-based school, full range of health. And then our biggest faculty is liberal arts and professional studies, which offers everything from languages to bachelor of business or commerce and disaster management. So we like to say it's your degree, your way at York. Now, our campus has tremendous facilities, including gyms, libraries, social life. You will have 300 clubs you can join, guaranteed residence for international students for first year. So there's a tremendous amount of restaurants and coffee shops on campus. There are 2 subway stations on the Kiel campus, which allows you access to the downtown core very quickly. The admission requirements for American students, it depends on what curriculum you're in, but these are generally, please remember that admission requirements can vary depending on the program. So it's always good to take a look beforehand to see if there are any prerequisites or any higher average for certain very competitive small course load classes. We also really prioritize supports in Canada and at York. So there's a full range of mental health and wellness, peer mentoring, academic advising, financial advising, career development, education centers that help you manage time better, write papers, practice job interviews, work on your resumes, anything you could possibly imagine, there is support for. Our tuition is sort of mid-range for Canada. So you can see here, this is an estimate of all the various expenses. You don't have to live on residence, but if you do, you can see the cost. I do want to always mention when I'm talking to American students, always put the conversion rate in because it works tremendously in your favor. $1 US is the equivalent to about $1.35 Canadian. So like $30,000 tuition in Canada is about $20,000 in US dollars. So always do that factoring. We do have a range of scholarships. I want to mention, though, that Canada is not as good at scholarships as the US. The US is very good at them, but we do have some very large ones down. Some are faculty-based, some are just entrance level, but then throughout your 4 years, you can apply for various scholarships along the way. And like I mentioned, international students can work while they're in Canada. This is my contact information. So please consider Canada. And then also I just want to mention, please consider York and reach out at any time. Often students are very nervous about contacting universities. Please don't. That That is our job. Don't be nervous. We're here to help you. So any question you have, whether it's academically based or just the city, you have questions about the city, or if you have an interest that you want to make sure is still available for you at the school, there is no question that's too small. And if it helps you make your decision, helps you decide the right place for you, because we're about the best fit in Canada, then we will help you in any way we can. So please contact me.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And participants, if you have any questions, please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A for any of our institutions here as they're presenting, and they'll be happy to answer them for you. Up next, we have Franklin University, Switzerland.
All right, give me one moment to share my screen and we'll get going here. All right, well, my name is Matthias Caldwell. I am the West Coast representative for Franklin University, Switzerland. We are located in Lugano, Switzerland, which is right at the southern base of the Alps, right along the border with Italy. It is the Italian-speaking region of Switzerland, so it's a really fun blend of those two cultures. You get your pizza, your pasta, your gelato, coming up over the border from Italy, that Italian language. As well, a little bit more of that Mediterranean vibe and weather, but you still get your trains and your buses running on time and all the time, so you get that Swiss efficiency as well. So it's a really fun blend of the Italian and the Swiss culture in that area. We are right at the base of the Alps, as you can see here. So the weather's really nice. You don't get crazy snow in the wintertime. You get a little dusting that'll stick around for a day or two, but you're not buried deep in snow drifts all winter. And yet you're only about an hour or so from, a number of good skiing and snowboarding resorts. So a lot of really great outdoor opportunities. If you like skiing, snowboarding, hiking, camping, climbing, water sports, we're right on Lake Lugano. So we are in this kind of lake district that spans southern Switzerland and northern Italy. So just a lot of different things going on in the outdoors there. We are an American university in Europe. So we're kind of like one of my colleagues mentioned in his presentation, a bit of a best of both scenario, in the sense that, you do get that European lifestyle, that European experience, but at the same time, you get all the familiar structure and resources that come with an American university, housing on campus, 4-year course of study, your classes, in English, the financial aid process is the FAFSA. So a lot of those things that you come to expect from an American institution, you're going to get with us, but we're located in Europe. As you can see, we're right on kind of the outskirts of the downtown area of Lugano. So that's Lugano arrayed in a crescent around Lake Lugano. And then actually one of those buildings that's kind of in the foreground of my slide here is actually one of our primary academic buildings. So we are only about a 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk up the hill from the downtown area, which means that you're, right in the middle of things, while at the same time, Franklin retains its own campus, its own presence for our housing, for our, all of our students to kind of be in the same place and really build that community right off the bat. We are a small school, so we hover kind of around 400 students on any given year. So really a personal touch to everything that you do. It means that your class sizes are going to be small. Average student to faculty ratio is about 9-to-1. So you really do get to develop those working relationships with your faculty, which can be invaluable moving forward as you're learning material, engaging with your studies, and then of course, getting letters of recommendation for grad school or jobs down the road. We are a very international school, so we get students from all over the world. About 50% of our students come from North America, and then the other 50% are coming from, wider Europe, South America, the Middle East, East Asia, all over the world, really. So you do get that kind of global perspective infused in everything that we do. It's a big part of what's going on in the classroom, and it's also a really big part of just your social life and the way you're interacting with people. Like I said, classes are in English, but you're going to be walking into the dining hall and hearing 5 or 6 different languages being spoken potentially. So a really great place for students who really want to learn about different cultures. They want to engage with people from different backgrounds and gain that global perspective. We are a liberal arts university, so strong in the humanities and social sciences. That's a really long laundry list of majors. I'm not going to, say all of them, but that's, things like the literature studies, communication, languages, culture studies, justice studies, etc. A lot of different options within that. But we're also very strong in business, banking, finance, marketing, all with kind of an international perspective. No surprise there, since Switzerland is, a banking and finance hub for the world. We also have some really good programs in things like environmental sciences, pre-med, pre-law, and then of course, international politics and relations. So, students coming in with those ideas in mind can find really good coursework for their studies. Probably one of Franklin's biggest attractors and our unique calling card as an institution is something called academic travel. We're one of the few institutions that I'm aware of, worldwide that's really built travel into the curriculum. You'll take an academic travel class every single semester, which means that you get to, travel for 2 weeks in the middle of the term with your class, led by the professor, to a location that's relevant to the topic you're studying. So, you might be in a Roman history class and you go to Rome for 2 weeks in the middle of the term and continue learning about that topic in the place that it happened. Or you might be in an environmental science class, looking at ecotourism and the way it affects the environment and this, the people that live in that area, and you'll go to Iceland for 2 weeks and continue learning about, that topic in a place that gets a lot of ecotourism. So really great hands-on learning experiences associated with Franklin, and just a really good option for students who like to get outside the classroom, who like to travel, and really want to be able to not just do that on their own time, but also have that built into the very, fabric of their degree. We are on the common application, and we're still accepting applications. So if you're a late stage senior applicant, feel free to keep, those applications coming our way. We are on the common application. We are also, a very easy application on our own website as well. So lots of different ways to apply. And that's kind of what I'll leave you with there. Thank you for listening, and I will pass it along to my next colleague.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Up next, we have Kunshan University.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. My name is Allison Lucas. I'm one of the global recruitment officers with Kunshan University. I'll be sharing a little bit about DKU today, some of the amazing opportunities that we have for our students, particularly those that are interested in studying abroad. So because we have such a short presentation today, what I've done on each of the slides, there will be a QR code that will take you to our events page. So there you'll be able to sign up for some of our virtual campus tours led by our students on campus, information sessions that are held by recruitment officers like myself. So those are a little bit deeper dive into the university and what some of the different opportunities on campus might look like. So just a bit of background about DKU. So we're a newer university founded in 2013 as a joint venture partnership between two universities, Duke University and Wuhan University in China. So as a joint venture, our students will study on two different campuses, one being in Kunshan, China on our stunning campus here, but then also on the Duke campus in Durham, North Carolina as well. So really a best of both worlds for students that want that opportunity to study in the US, but also have this really amazing international experience as well. Upon graduation, being a joint venture program, our students will actually graduate with 2 degrees as well, one being from DKU, accredited by the Chinese Ministry of Education, and the second being from Duke University itself as well. So really, again, best of both worlds to have 2 degrees accredited by 2 different departments of education. If you haven't heard of the city of Kunshan, you're not alone. Kunshan is actually considered a smaller city by Chinese standards with a population of just under 2 million people. So I always like to give a little bit of context for our students that have grown up here in the US. So the city of Kunshan is sandwiched right in between the cities of Suzhou and Shanghai. Suzhou has a population comparable to New York City. And as we all know, Shanghai is one of the most international cities in the entire world. So really amazing opportunities for our students in the city of Kunshan, but also in the surrounding cities as well too. One thing I like to note that Kunshan is in Jiangsu province in China, which has one of the highest GDPs of the entire country. So lots of capital being brought in for manufacturing, for innovation as well. So very good for looking at potential internship opportunities, potential job opportunities after graduation as well too. And one thing I always like to note is the proximity, where on a map, sometimes these places don't look super close together, but because the public transportation system in China is so kind of well built, and everything is so easily accessible and cheap for our students as well. Usually our students can travel to Suzhou or Shanghai in under 15 to 20 minutes for less than $1. So really amazing opportunities for our students to access all of the wealth of opportunities surrounding them. So when DKU was being founded, there was this idea of wanting to take a very 21st century modern approach to higher education. So all of these programs have been built on this basis of reinventing the liberal arts. So all of your courses are going to be very experiential, very interdisciplinary. So really what that means is that we encourage our students to kind of take a very blended approach to your program. No matter what discipline you're in, we are going to encourage our students to really dip their toes into some other fields of study to make sure that you're really getting a three-dimensional kind of understanding and knowledge. All of your courses are also going to be based on a 4-day academic week as well. So no matter what program you're in, no matter what year that you're in, your classes will always run Monday through Thursday. So those Fridays will be saved for those co-curricular education, no matter whether you're interested in maybe joining some clubs, maybe you'd like to do some traveling. Maybe once you get a little bit deeper into your program, you're looking at some different internship opportunities. That's really left for the student to decide how they'd like to run that. And then our innovative semester schedule as well too. So we run a similar 2-semester schedule for the academic year, but kind of the inside of that semester is going to look a little bit different. Instead of taking maybe 4 or 5 classes for 16 weeks, you'll actually be taking 2 separate sessions of 7 weeks, taking 2 to 3 classes at a time. So a little bit different than what you might see in the US. Taking a look at our academic majors here. So our majors tend to fall in 3 different categories. So your natural sciences, your social sciences, and your arts and humanities. So that will include your global studies as well. So all of these underlined courses here, those are going to be the degree programs. And then those smaller bullet points are going to be the different degree tracks that you could take. So for example, if you're interested in maybe global health, depending on whether you lean a little bit more towards the natural sciences or towards the social sciences, you could take either a biology approach or a public policy approach. So a little bit of nuance in how you can customize the different degree programs for yourself. One thing I like to always highlight, that being a newer university, one of the major benefits is that everything on campus is brand new, built within the past decade. So that means brand new residential halls, brand new classrooms, brand new labs, really amazing opportunities for students to just kind of live in a very new and very clean environment so that they're maximizing the most of our potential. A really stunning campus as well. We do have, it's a smaller student population, so just under 2,000 students. So designed to be a very tight-knit international community. So all of our classes are going to be very small, very discussion-based, very experiential-based. Right now, our student-faculty ratio is 7-to-1. So really focusing on the opportunity to get to know your peers, to have that one-on-one time with your professor as well. That's really one of the other main tenets of what makes DKU unique. We're also working on completing our phase 2 expansion of campus. So what that's doing is essentially doubling the size of the campus. So we have an entirely new section that's going to be adding in brand new residential halls, more recreational facilities, classrooms, labs for our students. So we're really looking forward to that opening. I think it's scheduled to open later this spring. So definitely check out our social media for those updates as well. And I think just because of how unique of an opportunity that DKU is, we're really blessed to have such an incredibly driven and passionate group of students that really are just so motivated to get to know each other and connect with each other. So this is actually a picture from our annual color run that happens each year. And because our international students haven't been able to be on campus during the COVID pandemic, now that China has reopened and our international students have returned, I know our students on campus are just so excited to start getting these programs up and running again with our international students involved. But really, I think what makes it truly such an important and amazing experience is all the amazing international students that we have on campus. We have over 70 different countries represented, really just allowing students the opportunity to immerse themselves in international culture and really get to know each other and just have the opportunity to, expand your own worldview, to really get to, broaden your horizons. And lastly, we are on the Common App as well. So we run a very similar schedule, early decision being in early November, regular decision following in early January, and still remaining test optional for 2023, still to be decided for 2024 as well. And lastly, I always recommend checking us out on our social media. Our Instagram in particular is very active, so definitely feel free to take a look there and make sure to connect with us as well. Thanks all.
Thank you so much. And a quick reminder to all of our participants to use that Q&A function if you have any questions during these presentations. Up next, we have American University of Paris.
Alrighty then. Well, hello, my name is Jen Fitzgerald, and I'm the Deputy Director of U.S. Admissions from the American University of Paris, but I'm actually based in Southern California, so I'm in probably the same or a similar time zone to most of you. AUP is an American university, small, private, urban, liberal arts, but we are located in Paris, France. Along with that, we have a very diverse student body of 1,000 students who are from 100 countries all over the world. So you could be in a class of 15 students from 7 or 8 nationalities with all different perspectives based on each individual culture they've come from. Along with that, our professors are from 30 countries and 70% of the faculty speak 3 or more languages. So not only the students are from all over the world, but the faculty, the staff, and the entire AUP community. We have 27 majors and 40 minors in the fields of business, politics, communications, arts, and humanities. So no medical and no engineering, but most everything else would be covered. Now at AUP, there's also a huge focus on experiential learning, where many of the classes take students out into the city, the country, and ultimately the world to explore. So we have study trips going to Cairo for psychology, London for Shakespeare, Venice for art, Israel for politics, all over the place. But we also have cultural excursions, which are fun trips mainly in France. This could be a chocolate walk or a perfume making class in Paris, but also visiting cities and regions like Normandy or Nice for the weekend. We have a career office that will assist students with everything from resume and cover letter proofreading to mock interviews. And this is a list of places our students have interned or worked over the years. But overall, we have about 20,000 alumni in 145 countries all over the world. So if you are looking for a global career, AUP is an amazing starting point for you. The campus itself is located in the 7th arrondissement. This is the 7th neighborhood, the same neighborhood as the Eiffel Tower. So you'll see there are 8 buildings circled in this photo. Once more, we are an open urban campus, so we are woven right into the city, where it takes usually 5 or 10 minutes walking distance between classes and about 10 to 15 minutes across the campus as a whole. But it's all in one condensed area. And we're also surrounded by lots of businesses, cafes, restaurants, apartments, and museums. Now, speaking of apartments, AUP housing is actually apartment style. So in this case, you would have your own bathroom, your own kitchen. Some have roommates, others don't, so it varies a bit. But the average distance to campus is about 30 minutes on the metro. So it is an American degree with that European lifestyle. We also don't have a meal plan since students have their own kitchens, but you're welcome to go grocery shopping, make your own meals for breakfast and dinner. But for lunch, there are plenty of places to eat all over the city. Along with that, housing is guaranteed and required for first-year students during their first 2 semesters at AUP. And it is quite more of an independent experience where you still live with other students in the same building, but more apartment style and immersing yourself in the French culture. To apply to AUP, you would submit the common application or apply to our university directly. 3.3 is the average unweighted GPA. We also don't offer interviews, don't require portfolios, and we are test optional, always have been even before COVID. So really it's just the application process, but I'm here for you from this point all the way through to orientation, should you have any questions about applying, housing, visa, whatever you need. Now, the tuition for AUP will be updated on our website over the next few weeks, but for this current school year, it's about 34,000 euros, add on another 18,000 and some change for all the living costs. So the grand total is about 53,000 euros per year, which is usually between 55 to 60,000 US dollars per year. But once more, give or take based on the exchange rate. When you apply to AUP, you're considered for merit scholarships automatically. But we also have merit need combination awards should you fill out FAFSA and AUP's financial aid application. So this is the timeline you should be looking at for your senior year. In November, we begin to read applications on a rolling basis. So even if you are a senior right now in February or almost February 2023, then you can apply right now and get a response in a couple of weeks. But also in February, we begin to review for financial aid. In April, we have an admitted student reception. And over the summer, we help you with the visa process, class registration, your bank account, your cell phone plan, everything you need to succeed at AUP. Now that is a wrap for me, but once more, I'm your counselor based in Southern California, so it's definitely easy to get in touch with me as I am in the same or a very similar time zone to you. So I would say ignore that QR code asking to find your admissions counselor since that's me. But if you ever want to contact AUP, that is admissions@aup.edu. But also follow us on Instagram at AUP Admissions, where typically every Tuesday we have a takeover where a student on campus will post photos and videos from their typical Tuesday at AUP. So thank you so much, merci, and I'll invite the rest of the crew back to answer some more questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to all of our institutions here for letting us know more about your lovely international universities. So exciting. I wish I could visit all of you. Right now we have time for some questions. We'll start with, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? You can share your nuggets of wisdom with our participants here today. We'll go in the same order, starting with Temple.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. My advice, and probably everyone's advice, don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions. No matter how silly you might think they are, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're always happy to assist in your college search process.
My suggestion would be to create a list of the things that matter for you before you start looking at universities. Maybe create an Excel document that lists the obvious things like degree, sports, if that's important to you, size of school, cost, also the kind of place you want to live, urban or rural, or like just anything you could think of. And then as you talk to each of these universities or you go to things like this, you can just go along and put check marks in everything that university has, because it can be very overwhelming hearing all of these different things from universities and then you can't remember who said what. But if you, after a year or 8 months of just doing a little bit of research here and there, you can step back and look at this chart and it becomes very clear which universities are meeting more of your desires and needs for your education and your experience. University isn't just about your classes, it's about your life as well. So whatever makes you a happy, better student, prioritize it.
I'm going to piggyback on that answer. That was a good answer. And my advice would be, don't get tunnel vision. So as you're building that spreadsheet that my colleague just mentioned, try to pick, where you ultimately attend college based on more than just one thing. You will change throughout the course of your 3, 4, 5 years of college, however long you attend. And when you do change, you want to make sure that college is still a good fit for you, even after that change takes place. And that's going to happen as long as you've picked a school that is a fit for you and it meets multiple needs.
I'll give a slightly different variation of that answer when it comes to tunnel vision and just keeping yourself open to all of the just breadth of amazing wealth of opportunities that are out there. You may have a certain kind of goal for yourself of what you think you might like to attend in a school. Your parents may have certain goals for you, but don't just kind of settle looking for kind of the same types of different schools, right? Look at international schools, look at small schools, look at large schools. And I think the more that you start to chip away at those, you'll start to hone in on really what it is that it speaks to you the most. That's really going to be the best fit for you. I think the more information that you get in, the more different opportunities that you see, the more you'll start to get that intuition of, okay, this is the right choice for me.
I think more specifically to going abroad, I would recommend studying abroad for at least 1 year. So although all of us here, we're all 3 to 4 year institutions where in most cases you plan to graduate from our universities, just one semester is not enough. I feel like it's a little too short to get fully out of the comfort zone and not enough time to completely learn a new language. So ideally it'd be great to study abroad for 3 to 4 years, but of course that isn't everyone's end goal. So definitely if you do go abroad for a shorter period of time, study abroad for at least 1 year so you get fully immersed in all the different seasons.
Absolutely. Thank you all for that wonderful advice for all of our students here today. I like to kind of echo what Ruby was saying, but not only keeping an Excel sheet, but have an email, a professional sounding email, hopefully, that is, dedicated for this college search process, because you don't want all of your spam emails and coupons and this and that coming into the same email, as potentially important admissions decisions, or, hey, we're missing something from your application. You don't want to miss those emails. So keeping that all streamlined or having like folders in your email is also really important to stay organized in the process. So it'll help make that easier and less stressful for you. All right, we have time for another question. So that is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? You're all unique institutions in and of your own rights, but is there one thing you want students to walk away for our last session this evening and be like, yes, I remember that about their school? We'll go in the same order with Temple University.
Thank you. Well, an affordable global education in the heart of one of the best cities in the world, Tokyo, Japan. Thank you.
I didn't mention this in the presentation, but York is known as sort of the hippie school in Toronto. We are the sort of the social justice school. So you always see students and campaigning for things that matter to them on campus. And I think that that's really important because it's about changing the world is sort of the core belief of our school.
I would say, I just reiterate the academic travel coursework that we have at Franklin. I mean, we're all representing international institutions, and so you get the opportunity to travel just by attending any of our schools. But if you're somebody who really wants travel to be at the heart of not just your your outside of class experience, but also your academic experience as well, then Franklin could be a really good option for you.
Yeah, I've got to say that best of both worlds experience, especially for our students that are really interested in research and really interested in studying abroad. I've seen far too many students who have had to sacrifice one or the other, either choosing to go to a research institution or choosing to go to a liberal arts institution where they can study abroad. So at DKU, our students are able to have both of those dreams that they can realize.
Yeah, sometimes I have difficulty answering a question like this because my immediate reaction is, well, we're in Paris, right? It's an amazing city. But to dive a bit deeper, it's definitely the diversity for me, where I mentioned this in the presentation, but you could have a class of on average 15 students from several different countries. So to put it into perspective, you could be in a class debating women's rights in the workplace, and maybe there's a person next to you where women can't even drive in their country, let alone work or hold any leadership role. And so things like that, especially as from my perspective as an American citizen from the US, things like that would blow my mind and might really shock you as well. So just really the diversity of thought, the diversity of experiences, perspectives, it's quite fascinating. So that's the big one for me, diversity.
Thank you so much, everyone. You have fantastic, unique institutions. Participants, please contact these admissions reps, get to know more about the schools, visit their websites, and maybe even visit them in person. That would be fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you to the presenters for sharing your time and more about your institutions. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. So we'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. You'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the rest of tonight's session recordings at strivescan.com/WACAC. That's strivescan.com/WACAC. Thank you so much for joining us and best of luck on your college search process.